I want to start off by pointing out we are on a brand new GoPro provided by Zamco Construction. These are new Z cams. Gonna try out shooting a video with the GoPro rather than my regular camera. But yeah, thanks Zamco. We're gonna have these in the car. We got a couple per car. Spencer has some, I have some, so should get a lot of good footage. Picking up where we left off last time. Finished Glen Helen 3, ended up taking first place, and then had a decent break in the summer until August. There was a autocross up in Big Bear. It was kind of it's called a Tarmac rallycross. Really just an autocross, but it was organized more with the rallycross guys in mind. It was a really short event, it was really cheap, kind of just went for the scenic trip and the weekend up in Big Bear. I didn't do anything to the car specifically in terms of ride height. I did actually hit up Federal for some RSRRs. I went ahead and got the stock wheels powder coated to match thanks to PPC, and went ahead and threw on those Federal RSRRs for the trip up there and to have a really good set of tires for a street setup. But other than that, I didn't do anything suspension wise. Left all the settings that I normally do for rallycross, which means the car was really soft. Well, I don't even remember what the results came out to be, but throughout that autocross event, I noticed some ticking and then some louder ticking, and realized that it was the front half shaft. So I went up intending to do as many runs as I could, but wasn't able to because I actually didn't trailer the car up the mountain. I drove it. So I knew I had to make it home. So just went pretty light, pretty easy on the runs, and then afterwards just made the trip home without stepping too much on the gas and tweaking that axle. I got home and had a look, and it was the inner boot that had ripped and just puked itself all over the engine and the engine bay. And it was that OEM half shaft on the right side that had kept giving me problems. That now the inside boot ripped, and got new shafts, new set both sides. Put those in for the next rallycross, and then went ahead, and because we had a semi-long break, also took the chance while I was doing the half shafts to do the steering rack guide. So with the RSX and EP3 steering racks, EP3s are electric and the RSX are hydraulic, but same general rack design. Where the inner tie rods mount to the steering rack is just like a little metal block, and then it attaches to some internal parts of the rack that slides across. The piece inside the rack that slides across is just like a little dinky plastic piece, and it gets worn out. And it actually, once it wears out, you get a lot of play in the wheels. It seems like bad wheel bearings, like bad tie rods, like it seems like a lot of different stuff, but it's really just a steering rack that has a lot of play in it. So the solution is to either get like a Delrin piece for that slider, or I actually got I think it's a brass, like some brass alloy metal piece for the slider, and went ahead and just installed that. So because I was doing the half shafts, went ahead and did that. The biggest tool you'd want is like a 30mm crow's foot, and then a really long pry bar. The really long pry bar is for the washers that you usually bend over the tie rods to keep the whole inner tie rod from loosening up. But they're really hard to get to unless you have a really long pry bar, like a screwdriver type pry bar. So I just went in actually from the wheel well, from the top and the bottom. It was like a 2-foot long pry bar, and just hammered them open. But yeah, after that, the whole rack, you need to take off the boot, so make sure you get some boot clamps. But there's a write-up online, you can just look it up, RSX steering slider, and you'll see what people do for different solutions. Also installed Sparco steering wheel. Sparco steering wheel and quick disconnect, kind of just getting ready for stage rally. But yeah, I went ahead and did that during the break as well. Also, when I bought the steering wheel, went ahead and got some equipment for stage rally. I didn't plan on putting it in the car or anything. I just held on to it, but got some good gear from Sparco. Got some Sparco harnesses, 6 points. Got some Sparco seats, the Circuit 2s, just because I'm a little bit bigger. I rather go bigger than smaller. Also got the Sparco intercom. It's a digital amplifier noise reduction. I'll go ahead and put a picture and part number in the video. Also got my helmet with intercom. Just a lot of safety gear. Got my racing suit, got the shoes, got the gloves, Sparco everything more or less. Spencer managed to do a group buy for some equipment, so we got some deals with that. Not through Sparco directly. Yeah, that was a good amount of equipment that I needed for Stage Rally, and we'll see we'll see what happens and when I get a chance to actually use those. So with all that going on too, I actually took some time off as well and took a personal trip to Japan. Yeah, got back, didn't have a lot of time. I think I had a couple weeks until the Glen Helen 4 or 5 doubleheader weekend. So with this event, there was no practice beforehand, and I had done a good amount of work to the car. And going in, I knew I was in contention for the championship at this point. I had won first place in all the Glen Helens, and then had accumulated some points in CRS too. So CRS and Glen Helen, 2 different championships. So yeah, Saturday was event number 4 for Glen Helen, and Sunday was event 5 for Glen Helen, and then another CRS event. So only one of them was a double event. So Saturday started off good. I knew I was going mainly against Pete because Pete was in first place for the championship in Glen Helen. Did really well. I didn't look too much at the times, but noticed that I was ahead of him. Early on in the first run, I had gotten a couple seconds up, and then by the time it was all said and done, I had gotten second place behind Pete by like 0.06 seconds, so not really much in that one. Kind of kicked myself a little bit for that, because had I gotten first, the championship would have almost been sealed up on Saturday for the Glen Helen. But because he had gotten first, I had gotten second, we were now tied full out for the Glen Helen Championship. So it would all come down to Sunday. So Sunday I needed to beat Pete. All I needed to do was beat him and at least get third, and I would have been championship for the season. Again, started off good, but somehow me and him kind of dropped down in pace, but still managed to beat Pete. I think Pete got third, I got second, and Nelson Flores in his Civic hatchback got first. But honestly, my focus wasn't necessarily on getting first, but just beating Pete and making sure that I could get the championship. It's just one of those things where you're just so close, and to not win the championship, given that it takes a whole year to win one. And it was just for my own personal satisfaction. You know, I'd put a lot into the car. It would have been the cherry on top to having a really good season on the podiums in most events. It was a good time. I mean, it's nice to see the same guys out there every week. You know who your competitors are going to be, and you know that in any day they could beat you, or you could have a mess up, and it's always going to be close. So yeah, I got second place both days. Ended up also winning the CRS championship. So before I talk about the plans in 2020, talk a little bit about the Rallycross banquet. CRS throws a end of the year banquet for the rally and the Rallycross events, and Glen Helen also joins them. So it was held in a BJ's in LA for the Glen Helen Championship. I got this awesome huge diesel piston of a trophy from the Robknot guys, as well as a custom embroidered windbreaker jacket thanks to Matt. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you see those jackets around, you know they're from the championship for Glen Helen. And then got this awesome plaque for the CRS P2 Rallycross Championship. I actually like that there's a picture of the car, because the car is probably going to change throughout the years. So just a little reminder of what the car was set up and what it looked like in the 2019 season. Super stoked on the awards, and I super appreciate CRS and Matt with the Glen Helen Rallycross for taking the time to put together the series and the trophies and the banquet and everything that entails. So thanks a lot, guys. So with that, at the end of the year, trying to keep the momentum moving, so decided to move up into Mod 2. The idea there is that I'm going to strip out the car and get it ready for stage rally, but in stripping the car I wouldn't qualify for P2 anymore. For the first event of 2020, I'm going to be in Mod 2, regardless of what mods or anything I have. I just plan to start the year in Mod 2. I do plan to do a stage rally or two in 2020, but I'm still kind of waiting for the calendar to shape up and finances to kind of sort themselves out. And lastly, we want to thank all our sponsors for the 2019 season. Want to thank Method Wheels, Imagine Garage, Federal Tires, Yellow Speed, Zip Tie Racing, PPC Powder Coating. Thanks for the support through the 2019 season. We hope to continue working with you in the future. Again, thank you very much for the support. May the season go a lot smoother. But yeah, just wanted to do full 2019 season wrap-up video for you with our new Z-Cams. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. See ya.